Welcome to the Nature Try feature. There are thousands of trees out there, thousands of flowers out there, and millions of fungi species as well. And the average person can't interact with every single one, be it a non desire to go outside, a lack of said plant in your climate. So, the aim of this series is to break down a species from the aforementioned groups. And because this is the first installment, I want to do something a little more fun, a bit more gimmicky. And these are poisonous and toxic species of trees, flowers, and fungi. So, usually I like to draw for my videos, but because this stuff can actually save your life, it's very important to know what it looks like. And this is probably the only video where I'll urge you to look at the screen because, again, the difference between knowing what these look like and not knowing what these look like is life and actual death. First up is the Manchineel tree. You can find these guys in the Caribbean islands as well as the Gulf of Mexico. Everything about these trees are bad news and it will ruin your life. You can't touch the trees, you can't touch the bark, you can't touch the sap, you can't eat the fruit. So, how do you find one? Well, they're going to be about 15 meters or 49 feet tall, and they have a pale brown or white bark. You can also recognize it by its yellow apple-like fruit. And if you spot from a distance, I pray you don't get any closer, it will have this white sap seeping out here and there. But what can you look forward to if you actually come into contact with this death tree? Well, you're going to get blisters, really bad ones, to the point where it will cause edema, which is this condition where your body is retaining too much fluid and you kind of blow up like a balloon, but it's not in a funny way, it's in a very, very painful way. And if it's burning, you like get smoke in your eyes or in your lungs. One, it will destroy your lungs and probably cause you to go blind. Now, eating the fruit is a whole nother beast because it's going to taste sweet at first. All right, we have accounts, and it tastes sweet until it starts to burn, and then your throat's going to start swelling up. So I guess it's just like getting edema on the inside. But that's not the worst part because you're also going to be bleeding in your guts, gastric bleeding. So that's not fun either. Thank goodness that most of these trees are marked with a red X or they'll have a warning sign nearby. So if you're in the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, keep an eye out, check the trunks of trees. If it has a red X or anything, just be like, not the best place to be, and walk the other way. Next up is the infamous death cap. These are the hardcore killers of the fungi world because they are masters of the skies and are commonly mistaken for other edible mushrooms. In general, the death cap is going to be this mixture of olive green, yellow, brown, and pale white. They can have more phallic shaped caps, but it's not uncommon for the caps to flatten with age. There is a surefire way to avoid eating a death cap, which is to look at the gills. These are the tissue structures underneath the cap, and if it's white, just leave it. A good foraging tip for mushrooms is don't eat anything with white gills. These tend to be very, very bad for you. Next, you're going to want to look at the cap itself. It'll probably have scraps of the vulva still on it. When the death cap grows, it just shoots out of the egg sac and it doesn't do a clean job of getting rid of all the earlier tissues. These will be white in color with dirt spots here and there to let you know that this is in fact a death cap and it's ready to free you from your mortal coil. Lastly, if you want to be triple sure, you can always smell the mushroom. A death cap will smell good at first and then immediately smell foul. We call this a sickeningly sweet smell, and that means that's going to be like rotting honey or molding sugar, that kind of deal. And it is completely safe to smell these mushrooms. It's also safe to touch them. The only problem is when you digest them. It only takes half a death cap to kill a full grown human being, and during that time you're not going to be enjoying it. You'll have your typical indigestion problems, vomiting, nausea, diarrhea. But what's going on at the same time is that the death cap amatoxin is viciously attacking your organs. I'm talking about kidney failure, liver failure, pancreatic failure. It's not going to be pleasant. It's going to be very painful, and you'll need to get to a hospital as soon as possible, or you're going to die in a day or two. Again, if you're out there foraging for mushrooms, you see white gills, just leave it alone. That's my best piece of advice. Lastly, we have the Monkshood or wolfsbane if you want to go that route. This lovely purple plant measures 2 to 4 feet or half to 1 meter tall. The mere act of touching one of these will leave your hand tingling or feeling numb. Because of this, it has been a favorite among poisoners since ancient times. It's good for arrows, good for torture, good for outright killing people. Why is that? Because it has aconitine, which is a jack of all trades when it comes to toxins. It is a neuro, cardio, and gastric toxin, meaning that it will mess up your brain, it will mess up your muscles, it will cause irregular heartbeats, and all the while you'll be vomiting, nauseous, and have diarrhea. Despite all of that, it still has pretty common use in herbal remedies, usually Chinese ones. People will put it in their tea. People will just rub it outright. The effects vary. Yes, there are cases where it's been pretty bad, but I haven't looked at the entire ratio. Maybe it works. I don't trust it. I wouldn't recommend you put it in your tea or rub it on yourself, but I'm also not a herbal remedy specialist. That's all for this time. Thank you for sticking around. Maybe check out another one of these vids if it piques your fancy. I got stuff about space. I'm trying to make more content and branch out. So see you next time for another nature try feature. Maybe it'll be something more lighthearted. Till then, thank you for watching.